Gotham Season 4, Episode 10, Things That Go Boom. So this episode is the one that leads into the mid-season finale, which has me very excited, especially with the way they ended the promo, where apparently Jerome is coming back, so that should be pretty awesome. But this was really cool. We got to see the next step for what they're going to be doing with Pig, or at least a reference to it, where Jim kind of goes into Arkham Asylum and he knows, like, alright, we don't know what's going on with this dude. He got into a fight, so we find out that he has these bars in his face that were made for, like, excessive facial surgery. So it's like, alright, well, we have no idea who this guy is. His face is totally different from whatever it used to be. He's also got no fingerprints because he, like, burned them all off. So we have no idea who this guy is. What's going on? So, like, what in the world is happening here? And it turns out that the reason he got into this fight in the beginning of the episode was to continue playing this silly little game with Jim, where it's like, you know, like even Jim says it at the beginning, it's like, you know, everything he's done has been, you know, kind of for a purpose, and now it's just like a random little fight in Arkham Asylum where he breaks a record and, you know, stabs a dude, and it's like, for what? What was the point of that? So, loved how that played out. It, you know, it was a minor story in the episode, but I was like, ultimately that ended up actually being kind of cool. You know, Jim finds out that he's actually from the South, and of course it's like, alright, well, we have this possible version of what he looked like, so, you know, send that down south because he, you know, let the accent slip. And it's like, yep, it ends up being, you know, Laszlo something, and so it turns out that he killed people before, but he didn't have the pig persona, and he also escaped prison. So it's like, alright, well, now he'll probably escape again, so let me go check out Arkham Asylum. And they get there, of course, he already killed a guard, which we see, you know, he hangs the guy. And then he writes in blood, you know, it's been fun, Jim, or it's been fun, James. And then he puts his name underneath, and I was like, man, the whole time he was playing him. And then, of course, that leads right into Sophia, who has been just playing everybody left and right, like she is somehow still alive, first off, because everything was just crazy in this episode. Turns out she definitely planned on having the kid. I totally forgot his name. The kid, the young kid. She did plan on having him see that on purpose. Like, that was the point, was to have him actually tell Penguin, hey, this is happening, so that Penguin would freak out, and then the doctor would be there, and then she'd threaten the doctor about his family, and then he would kill the guy, and then let her go free. Everything she did was just constantly in motion. Like, it was genius. It was, you know, evil genius. Of course, then, you know, there's a little fault in her plan when Tabitha, you know, Tabitha, Barbara, and Selena show up, kidnap her, take her to the armory that they have, which unfortunately is gone. I thought that was a cool set, so it kind of sucked to see it get blown up. I just thought it was like a cool little area that they had. It was like a cool lounge, and then there were just guns in the background. I was like, I like the style of that place, and it was like, oh, they blew it up already, so that sucked to see. But they thought they could make a deal with Penguin, like, hey, everything's done with us, you know, we don't owe you a debt, we don't pay off dividends, any of that, we're good. It's like, sure. And of course he sends Zaz, you know, with an RPG, blows up the whole place, so they end up teaming up with Sophia, and that plan ends up failing because, you know, they go through the whole process once again, fairly successful until that very, you know, that end moment, a slight little hiccup. So they go through the process, she's on the train, she knows that even, regardless of what Jim does, Penguin's going to want his revenge. So Jim's like, hey, we'll make a deal, this and that, you don't get involved. Of course, that falls apart. And so, you know, once Zaz comes in, knocks Harper out, she instantly smiles. Like, Sophia's just looking away, she gets hit, and it's like, I'm ready to go. So it's like, he'll meet me here. They meet, they have Martine. They have Martine. It's like, alright, this is what's going to happen. You give up everything, we give you the boy. Penguin, of course, has the one weakness of him caring about someone else. Like, that is like his one crux as a character right now. And he's like, alright, you knew what you were doing. My heart is my weakness. And that was just when I was like, they're not going to blow this car up because that's insane, right? But it's Penguin, so you never know how that's going to play out. And Martine gets in the car and he, you know, starts to go through the speech. And I'm like, this sounds like, you know, an I'm about to kill this boy speech. Because that's like his one weakness right now. Like, he cares about this kid because he can relate to him and stuff like that. Him being the outsider and teaching him, you know, the bully ways. So it's like, he's gonna actually do it. Like, he's gonna kill this kid to, you know, it's that extreme measure to be like, I need to protect myself. My heart is my weakness. So if I destroy my heart, I can handle it better than if you do it. And he blows up the car, and I was like, wow, he actually freaking did it. And of course, everyone's freaked out. It's like, holy crap, he just killed a kid. And, you know, they all, you know, crazy massive shootout. I was like, you know, you wanted a war, now you have a war. So they have the shootout, and then of course Sophia goes back with the crew, and it's like, alright, well, we're gonna do this, and it's just like, you don't get that you've lost. And Sophia does not believe she has. She's like, you know, she has the lieutenants, or, you know, whoever the spies are in Penguin's army, pretty much. He's like, I got those people, like, this is going to happen. So if you're with me, then we are going to take him down. Like, she's still insanely confident. So definitely cool. And then of course we get the reveal that Martine is actually alive. So I did love that, because I was like, man, either way, I thought it was a great scene. Like, him playing them was still great. The whole segment itself was still really awesome. So, like, all of that I thought was really well done. And it turns out that they just had like a little hatch where he could go into the sewer, and then he totally survived. So absolutely love that. But you send the Martine away, and then it's like, all right, Zaz, you take him somewhere safe. And I think that's going to work out fine. I think Martine will just officially be gone, and then it's just going to be, the whole war element. But, man, it was just well done. It was like, wow, he actually, that was like his one-up on them, to where he faked the explosion. And it's like, I have to take care of myself. I have to kind of get rid of my own heart. And that was kind of the show that he put on. And it worked out perfectly. So I absolutely love that. And now they're going into this insane final battle. So I can't wait to see how that plays out in the mid-season finale. Or it might not even be the final battle. Who knows if Sophia will, like, get defeated or even killed in the mid-season finale. Like, we could just have, like, a whole different storyline going forward if she does end up dying, or however that ends up playing out. But love that. And then, of course, we have the Narrow storyline, which is actually pretty cool. We have Lee being the leader of the Narrows. She has kind of her first big job. Like, she's going through her little court system, and it's like, all right, well, you guys are both failing, so why don't you work together? And then she checks on the guy's daughters, like, how's your daughter doing and stuff. So she's being this great leader, and then they get their first big threat from this other guy who owns territory, like, just south of where they are. So she goes to him, makes up this fake drug, and it's like, hey, if you let me take care of that, I'll give you 30%, everything will be cool. And so he's like, sure. And of course, when Lee and Ed actually get back, to her shop, everything's screwed up. And Ed is just like, see, like, we should have just taken him down. Like, the whole way through, he was kind of saying these little things where it's like, this should happen and that'll happen and all this stuff, which I thought was really cool how they brought that together at the end. But, of course, it gets destroyed, and so she was pissed off. And she was like, okay, still not going to use Grundy, but I'm going to use my medical expertise. I'm going to drug your drink and go to you, say, hey, here's this cure. Get the F out, and that's pretty much all there is to it, unless you want to be dead. So I thought that was a great moment. Probably shouldn't have given him the cure as they were walking away, because any normal person would just be like, okay, this is the cure, so, let me shoot him up. Excuse me. Granted, it could have been like that weird, crazy Princess Bride situation where it's like, maybe you poison me, but maybe this isn't the cure, so there's still poison and all this weird stuff. But I would never do that. I'd be like, we're going to take one of your guys. We're going to leave this area where we're, surrounded from, like, every vantage point, and then I'll give them the cure and we'll leave to our area. That way you get to live. But ultimately, of course, nobody shot and everybody was still fine. But it was really cool. And, we get to the end where everything kind of works out, and Ed is like, like, you did it. Like, you are doing things right here. Like, you got it. And Lee reveals to him that she was not looking for a cure because nothing's wrong with him. At least not, physically. She's like, there's a bit of an issue with the ice in the beginning, but did all the tests. Physically, you're totally fine. This is just a psychological issue that you have, but you knew what Samson was going to do every step of the way before he did it. And I love her line when she says, the reason I didn't tell you before is because I was worried that you would just go right back to being the Riddler rather than being, Enigma, the guy that I used to know, like my friend, before he went nuts. So I was like, that's actually kind of awesome. And then, of course, her letting him know that nothing was actually wrong with him kind of brought that subconsciously back into his head, like, that, that's come back. Like, maybe it was actually gone when he was, first messed up, but now he's kind of recuperated. He just didn't realize it consciously. So now subconsciously it's right in there. And of course, they have, the mirror sequence. He's rinsing his face off, and it's him as the Riddler, suit and hat and everything, and now he's got to fight that again. So I think I'm going to be excited to see what they do with him going forward, where he seemed okay with what Lee said. Like, he kind of smiled a little bit, where he was like, wow, she, like, likes the person that I am right now. And he, admittedly, like, he's been that person for a minute now, so he's probably just used to it, like, well, I'm actually okay. I thought something was wrong with me, but I'm still okay just kind of being here in this situation, like, almost being a confidant to Lee as she kind of, leads the Narrows. Even though he mentions, I want him to be the sidekick. So it seemed like he was okay with that. So now he has to fight it all over again, which I think would be very interesting, considering he's already been the Riddler. That was like his crazy thing leading up to him being the Riddler, but he already has been. I don't know if they'll go like full split personality. I think that would actually be great for his character, where he doesn't realize that he's become the Riddler again, you know, like in spare time or whatever. I think that would actually be really cool, and it like affects the storylines around him, and he doesn't realize that he's even affecting the storylines. Especially if they hid the storylines, that would be cool. If he was doing a bunch of stuff as Riddler, but we never saw it, and all this crazy stuff was happening, and then it turned out it was him the whole time. That would be amazing. So if things start to get real weird, I'm gonna probably suspect that that's the storyline going forward. But I think that would be really cool if he, like, they never showed it to us that he actually was going through it. Like, he thought he beat it, and then it turns out that he just suppressed it, and then it was just like that flip of the switch where sometimes he's the Riddler, sometimes he's Ed. And that's kind of how it was a little bit in the beginning for sure, where he would kind of struggle with it and, you know, go back and forth. But I think at this point, that truly is the persona that he is now. Or, you know, at least it's a huge part of him, much more than when he was first going crazy. It's like, legitimately, he was the Riddler for a time. So I think it could work even better now, where it's officially a split personality thing, where he just doesn't realize, crap, I did this, this, and this, and it affects, you know, like I said, if it has affected other storylines. I just think that would be really cool. Be like the ultimate plan, and even he didn't realize he was the one behind it. I just think that would be really cool to see them pull off. But either way, I'm looking forward to where that's headed for him. Of course, going into the mid-season finale, we got Bruce coming back. He seems to, you know, still be doing his thing. Alfred, like, dumps water on him to wake him up. He's in bed with two girls. And I love this scene where Bruce is basically like, you know, you think you can stop me. I hope Alfred beats him, because that would just be awesome. Because Alfred's just so cool in this version of Batman. I think he will, ultimately. I think he'll kind of hold off and, you know, of course not beat Bruce up. But I think he might get a little mad. Bruce, I think, might get that one good hit in, and then Alfred will be like, okay, and then just give him one hard hit, and he'll just put him down like instantaneously. But I'm excited for that scene. Excited to see where that goes in general, and then of course everything that's going to be happening should be pretty cool. Plus Jerome is coming back, so that's going to be insane. But definitely love this episode, of course. Would love to know what you guys thought about it, so please comment below. Let me know your favorite parts about it, your least favorite parts about it. And of course, with us going into the mid-season finale, I would love to know your predictions on how things are going to play out. Do you think this will continue on into the mid-season premiere coming back next year? Are we going to continue to see Sophia Falcone? Is she going to get killed off? So, you know, I would love to know what you guys think about that. Of course, I'm sure with them hinting at Ed going back to being the Riddler, we'll see that, at least, you know, the beginnings of it, in the mid-season finale. So that should be pretty cool, too, to see him fight that while all the super crazy stuff is going on. Who knows if Pig will return, so all those things are kind of up in the air, but we'd love to know your theories on what we're going to get, and just what you guys want to see in general for the mid-season finale. And of course, just want to know what you guys thought about this episode in general, so please comment below, let me know, and thanks for watching.